Hey folks, this is Mike with the Quality Sportsman. Yesterday I shot my first DMR 2-gun match and I wanted to share it with you. Let's take a look. Before we get into it, I'd ask that you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That will help me and the team grow the channel so that we can bring you more awesome content every week, providing the best reviews on outdoor and shooting products and the best how-tos for how to interact with those products. If you like the video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. That helps also. So what's a DMR match? Well, it's a type of 2-gun match that's designed around the designated marksman principle. A designated marksman is a member of an infantry platoon that is kind of branching the gap between regular infantry rifle and snipers. When I was in the infantry, we were in Afghanistan. We only have one sniper team for our entire company. So we were provided Mark 14 rifles for our designated marksmen, and that provided us a platform to have sharpshooters that could reach out further than just our standard AR-15. So a DMR match is designed around this principle, which allows you to bring your gas gun and a pistol as a sidearm and have a 2-gun style match that's not just confined to a pistol bay, but allows you to shoot more long range and stretch out there up to 600 yards or so. So once I found out about the DMR match, I knew I had to join. I love shooting long range and I love trying to stretch my AR out as far as it can go. The match was down at Clinton House in South Carolina, which it was my first time down there as I'm new to the Southeast, and this was a wonderful facility. I highly recommend you check it out. There was a sporting clays tournament going on at the same time. It was a beautiful day, very windy, which made it challenging for a lot of folks. So let's go to the field now and take a look and see how I did. All right, DMR. You can hear the shooting going in the background. Just finished stage 1 off the top of that next over there. Cleaned it, kind of missed the target. I thought it was 5 pistols with my rifle. Apparently it was 6th rifle. But all in all, it went well. Finished the stage under the par time. Got a 10-second penalty, so good to go. Let's keep it up.
Okay. Just holster hot. Impact. 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 Yes. You're on number 4. Last target. Impact. At the beginning. Impact. 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 There we go, baby. Nice. There we go. Yes, brother. Hell yeah.
The plates got smaller and smaller at 300 yards. If you missed a rifle shot, you had to draw your sidearm and engage this small pistol target at about 10 yards. So that threw a lot of people off. The wind started howling and switching directions, and this 6-inch plate at 300 yards was getting people pretty good. So luckily I got on target, cleaned the stage in 90-something seconds, and did pretty well. So pretty pumped about that. A lot of people struggling to finish that stage, so All right, on to stage 3. Let's go. All right, beautiful day here, getting a little windy. Ooh, just tripped. Should probably stand still in a video. Third stage, not so great. Had a feeding issue, so that's, there's Will, just coming out of the porta potty. Had a feeding issue, so that was frustrating. Hopefully a little oil goes a long way. On stage 4, this wind is kicking our butts, so let's see what's going on. All right, so this match was really fun. There were 6 different stages, all incorporated some positional shooting. The targets ranged from 200 yards to 450. They changed it up for this year and did not publish the distances of the target, which was interesting, but they did allow rangefinders, so that allowed us to figure out the yardage of our targets. The average par time for each stage was around 105 seconds. And with the number of positions they made you change, do, and sometimes forcing mag changes, that was really tough. For this match, I only finished 3 out of the 6 stages in time, which for me was short of my goal to finish all 6 in the par time. Unfortunately, I struggled with some feeding issues on my AR, and I'm still not really sure if it was bad magazines or what was going on, but that really hurt me on 3 of the stages where I spent most of my time, trying to get the gun back up and running, get around in the chamber. Once you have a malfunction, it's really hard to recover and hit all of your engagements in the par time. So I'm not super upset about it. I learned a lot of good lessons about running my rifle under high stress environments. It's been a while since I've done that in the Army, and this was really good doing it with my own gear. I was shooting the 6.5 Grendel here, which I built 3 or 4 years ago. And unfortunately, that's one of the biggest lessons learned is this is just not the greatest gun. I'm gonna pull the barrel, try a different barrel, see if I can get it tighter than 1.5 minutes that it's able to shoot. And see if I can get some better magazines to try to fix the feed issues. But I might be switching to something else for my next DMR match. So overall, I had a really great time. I learned a ton of lessons. I finally got to shoot my AR on a windy day where wind calls did matter. It's a little bit different than PRS because you can just keep sending it and spot for yourself. There's no round count. But the engagements are very fast and you have to be able to quick spot your rounds and get on target. One of our stages, I believe it was our last stage, that wind was howling and it was switching directions and it would go up to 12 miles an hour and then die down. And it was really hard to tell what the wind was doing down at the targets. So a lot of people were 1 to 2 mils off on their initial hold for the 5.56. Me shooting the 6.5 Grendel, I had a little bit more forgiveness, but I did have some dope issues that hurt me on that stage. I ended up placing in the bottom half, which was kind of a bummer, but with a 30-second penalty for each missed rifle target that I couldn't hit in time due to the malfunctions, that's kind of expected. There was one stage where I came 3rd in my class, and I was really proud of that. I felt like I was shooting lights out, and if I can figure out all my equipment issues before we get into the next DMR, I have a real chance of finishing in the top 10. The biggest value of this match for me was all of the lessons learned. So I wanted to run through them real quick with you. First of all, I got lazy and I didn't bring my rangefinder, and that was a huge mistake. While other people had rangefinders, it would have been a lot more comfortable if I had some rangefinding binos or even my little bow hunting rangefinder out there so that I could check the targets, verify myself, spend a minute and doing the, checking my dope, making wind calls and things like that, really planning the stage out. Because it was a DMR style match and I knew you could just send it and spot your own rounds and get your rounds on target, I was a little too lazy about planning it out, and that kind of went back to my decision to leave the rangefinder in the truck. That said, leaving the rangefinder did help me to interact with other shooters in my squad, which ended up being a positive. So while I'm sad I didn't have it for that match, it maybe gave me more benefit than harm. Next time, I'm definitely gonna bring it. The second thing I learned, you have to trust your equipment. This Grendel, unfortunately, did not serve me well. Nothing against the round. I love the 6.5 Grendel and I plan on shooting it for my next DMR, but I did tons of load development and I could not find a round that would shoot less than 1.5 to 2 minutes in this. Once I started running this gun a ton, I had a lot of malfunctions in it. I started having feed issues. I couldn't find magazines. I feel like the Grendel is falling out of favor with the shooting community, with other things like the 6-ARC, other platforms coming into play. So yeah, I struggled to really have a really good set of gear that I could trust going into this match, and it bit me on this one. I did diagnose my feeding issues to the bullet type that I chose for this match. The Hornady ELD matches had a real sharp polymer tip, and although I was loading from base to ogive for an appropriate length, those tips were hitting in the front of my magazine, so I had to load them very carefully one by one to make sure they were jogged to the rear. Even then, they would still kind of slide forward as the round above it was getting picked up, and then it would bog down in the magazine, and it made for really tough feeding issues. Again, that's the value of this match, is I ran the gun really hard in practice leading up to it and really hard during the match, and I got to learn about diagnosing different issues. So kind of bittersweet, ended up being a positive. I really wish I did not have those issues so that I could have finished all my stages on time and see how I stacked up against the rest of the crew. My number 3 lesson learned for this event was stick with what you know is good. Don't make last minute changes. The night before, I was trying to find a load that would really work in this Grendel. I loaded up a completely new round, and I thought it was good with just a few volleys down at the local range, some light chronograph testing on the Garmin Zero, which is awesome, by the way. Check out that review. And I think that ended up giving me some dope issues. I may have not had my muzzle velocity and BC correct in my calculator. So once we started stretching out to 450, I was a half to a mil high, and I thought I had dialed exactly for 450. So that's neither here nor there. It's gone. Eventually, I figured out to shoot a mil low, started hitting the targets, was able to finish the stage, but it really made me struggle and it really hurt my time. So having dope issues like that is a huge confidence shaker. And honestly, although my rounds were 1.5 to 2 minutes the week leading up to it, I should have just stuck with it. It's good enough to hit steel in this style of match. Changing that bullet the night before the match, loading up a completely new batch that I only did a 5-round shot group chrono test with, was probably a mistake, and I think that's what bit me. So that's my 3rd lesson learned. Those were the hard lessons that I learned for this event. Overall, it was super positive. The group of people that were there are very helpful. I liked watching all of their different styles. I liked seeing all the different gear that they were running. I kind of got the wheels turning in my head for what I could do next time. They were really positive, and people were offering to help, let me shoot their gun when I was struggling. But ultimately, I wanted to finish the match with the gun that I started with and make the platform work for me, not just blame it and then, take an easy way out. The whole point of the DMR match is you need to get up there and run your gun in a combat style engagement. Having malfunctions is part of it. So I didn't want to take that out. But back to the positive, everybody was super helpful and friendly. Folks were showing me tips on my Kestrel that I hadn't known before. I was really getting an opportunity to use it for wind calls, for setting up target engagements properly. I had a blast. The community is amazing, and I can't wait to do the next one. Another positive is signing up for a match really gives you a reason to practice and a specific way to practice. Because I knew I was coming to this match for the past 3 weeks, each weekend I've been running myself through a number of different positional drills on the shot timer. And that made me so much faster at target acquisition and being steady in a ton of different positions, which previously I hadn't been great at. Now that I've trained up for this match, my positional shooting feels so comfortable to me. I really feel like with a good bag that I could shoot off of any different position, any different barricade. I mean, we shot out of the back of a truck bed. I'm 6'5", 275 pounds, and it was really tough to get down. But man, I did it because I practiced. So having this match forced me to practice. It forced me to practice on the shot timer, which I highly recommend. And I am such a better shooter today than I was 3 weeks ago because I signed up and did this match. Another huge positive was my pistol shooting. I've always shied away from pistol shooting, gone towards rifle shooting and rifle matches, but this forced me to figure out my pistol shooting. I shot the CZ Shadow 2, which you can see behind me, out of the box. That thing is awesome. And I had a really good time shooting pistol. Actually, the only time that I didn't do well was once I started getting a little overconfident, then I was not doing a proper trigger squeeze. I had to stick that pinky out so I wasn't torquing the gun as I pulled the trigger. But again, I hit every single pistol target. I only missed one of the whole day, and that's because I didn't get to it because I was struggling with the rifle. So other than that, every pistol target I hit, I never missed a rifle target because I couldn't clean the pistol stage, and that's a huge win for me. This 2-gun DMR style match really forced me to get over that hump, figure out the pistol. I'm loving it, and that was a huge positive. So overall, even though I had a lot of challenges, this was a phenomenal experience. I highly recommend you guys get out there and sign up for a competition, whether it's a DMR 2-gun style match or anything. Get out there and do it. It gives you a reason to train, and it forces you to figure out your gear system and your loadout so that you are a better and more effective shooter at the end of the day. So get out there, let me know what you think. I hope you have a positive experience just like I did. That's it for now. We'll see you next week on The Quality Sportsman. Almost forgot my last tip for the day. Get yourself some of God's chicken when you're done. Have a good day.